William Maloney, no middle name, just William Maloney, born in Dennerby, Maine, near Doncaster in Yorkshire, in December the 4th, 1925. Mary Ann, mother, and Thomas Maloney, which I never knew very much of. My father, he died very young. I would only be about 2 to 3 years old when he died. Of course, my mother brought me up. I got a job in the coal mine, the local coal mine, Dennerby, Maine. That was in December 1939 when I left school. And I started work the day after Boxing Day, 1939. Well, as a boy of 14, it was down the pit, in the pit bottom, as they called it in those days. And we was engaged to couple tubs together. When I went on the coal face, I was 18. 18 when I went on the coal face. It was very filthy and hard work. I came over on the Atlantis, you know, one of the 10-pound poms, yeah, immigrant ship, yeah, all immigrants, yeah. We left England in April 51, about the middle of April, and we didn't arrive till June. We had anchored the night before because it was too stormy to bring the ship in. Typical wet, windy Wellington. I was transferred up to Auckland to work as a builder's labourer on Mechanics Bay. When the bus came to pick us up at the railway station, and then the bus came across the harbour on the ferry with us sitting in it. There was no bridge in those days, and it was the vehicular ferry, drove us up to North Head, and when you stand on North Head, you'll think you're on an island. There's sea all the way around, and I thought, God, they've put us on a bloody island. Immigrants on an island. It was lovely, though. Well, the houses, first of all, you notice, Peter, they're all wooden. After living in, like, Coronation Street houses like we did, brick terrace houses like we did all our lives. But I fell in love straight away. Loved it. George and Gloria had quite an open house for good friends, and also at the same time we met a lot of Navy people, and there was always a good excuse for a party with the Navy people and the wives, of course, and if there was a piano kicking around, George would always tinkle a few of the notes on the piano. And we'd have sing-songs, good old sing-song in those days. Yeah. Dick was from Scarborough, actually, but I never knew Dick until I met him at the hostel, the immigrant hostel. And then we became good friends. In fact, we went back to England together. During my visit in England, we just looked at each other and said, now we're here, what we're going to do? Dick, being in Scarborough once, right on the coast, not far away from Filey, where the holiday camp was. So we toddled off down there and got a job at Batley's holiday camp in Filey. And we stayed there the whole season. That was from April when we arrived in England till about the end of September. We were barmen, different, but they wouldn't allow us to work in the same bar. We worked in different bars. Lots of parties. But I'm thinking the car you were thinking about, we built up here in Devonport, in Clerpy Road. There was no body, only the front part of the engine. So Dick, being as handy as he is, and we helped him, of course, we put this body on the back. It was like a miniature caravan. Strange looking thing. But yet, one weekend we took off down to Stoke Road in the old thing. We had plenty of people blowing their horns on the way down. Oh, gee. They thought it was so funny. Well, we had been to a dance. Dick and I had been to a dance down at the naval base. And of course, our flat was only 5 minutes walk from the naval base. And we'd arrived home from this dance, just the two of us. And I think we're just having a cup of tea, or strange for us, but anyway, here comes a knock on the door, and we looked outside, and there's a friend of mine, Joe. Joe and his and two girls. And I thought, oh, that's strange. What's Joe doing coming up here with, you know? He'd also been to the dance at the naval base. But then we found out that the two girls one was his sister, Anna, and another girl was a friend of Anna. Of course, I started making eyes at Anna and introduced myself and started making dates. It was strange. It was just, as soon as I saw it, I said, that's it. Where have you been all my life? And we continued from there, you know. And, well, she was so nice, pretty, small, not a big lady, but nicely dressed, yeah. And, oh, lovely smile, yeah. And found out that she worked at the road service and got her telephone number, and that was it. Started ringing and making dates, and wasn't interested in any more girls after that. I think we courted for about 2 years. Yeah, and then I must have thought, I'm getting a bit old here. I think I was getting close to 33 by that time, Peter. Yeah. So, yeah, I think about 2 years we knew each other before we got married. All Souls Catholic Church, yeah. Yeah, we had a lovely wedding.
And were you both Catholics?
Anna was very strict, but I wasn't. I'm still not. Still haven't changed, but I go to church occasionally with her, you know, keep her happy. Yeah. But the kids were brought up in Catholic schools, but they didn't change. They're still, you know. We bought a house in bottom of Clarence Street. Yeah. We bought a house between the two of us before we got married. We sold the house in Clarence Street because the value of the house went up, Peter, in Clarence Street because it was zoned commercial. So we doubled the price, you see. Then we bought the house in Moseley Avenue. We moved up here from Moseley, yeah, 30-odd years ago, because it was a nice brick house. And I said, right, let's move from a fed up of doing the work and painting on the old house. You know, Devonport, the amount of work you do on the old houses, Peter. Yeah. Oh, and Anna, just about every winter, living in the old house in Devonport, she'd get a very bad cold or flu, you know, because the house was a little bit damp. And I always said, when we can afford to, I'll move somewhere higher up. And she'd never been sick since we moved up here, strangely enough. Yeah, but we've had a happy life. Yeah.